Today I'm talking about processing anger in a truthful, compassionate way. I'm Jen Anderson with Stronger Because Coaching. I'm an empowerment life coach, and one of the things I do is I teach people how to gain more peace in their lives. And a lot of times something that is keeping us away from peace is anger, because anger just doesn't feel good. And when we're experiencing it, we're often beating ourselves up inside our minds, and we're beating the other person up inside our minds and kind of showing up emotionally inside as the person that we're just really ticked off at, the person we're angry at. Sometimes we're mirroring them, acting just like them, and sometimes we're kind of we're seeing their anger and we're going to raise it. Sometimes we'll see angry behavior and we'll get outraged about it. And it just feels very important and powerful. But I want to teach you how to get away from it, how to be able to process anger with some compassion. Now, anger is something that we often associate with being out of control or even sinning. And so we end up having a lot of guilt and a lot of judgment and a lot of shame added on to that, something that's already really challenging to deal with, anger, and now we've got all the other layers on top of it. So I'm going to teach you how to take that top layer off of shame and guilt so that you can just address what is going on with the anger. So I just want to introduce you to anger just a little bit. Anger is not a primary emotion. Anger is a secondary emotion. It means that it doesn't happen first. It always covers something else. Mad covers sad. Mad feels very proactive and much more powerful because it's covering something very, very vulnerable. It's like mad is the bodyguard for sad, right? But in order to be able to heal and to process those hurt or betrayal or rejection or disappointment, the soft thing underneath, we need to work our way through the anger. And we feel angry because we're human. It comes from thoughts like, they shouldn't do that, or I shouldn't have done that. The unintentional knee-jerk reaction to anger is often blaming someone else for how we feel. I feel this way because they acted like that. He said that. She did that. And we're telling ourselves it's someone else's fault that we feel angry. And when we do that, we become powerless. And we believe that in order to feel better, we're going to have to change someone or something else outside of us. But really, we're the only ones that are suffering from anger because it feels terrible inside. We're the ones feeling terrible. It's like punching ourselves in the face and punishing ourselves sometimes for someone else's behavior. We're giving away our power and our ability to go ahead and feel calm and peaceful. That lies with us. So how do we process anger without the guilt? The first thing we do is we access compassion by recognizing that we are not our thoughts and we're not our feelings. Our brain is designed to protect us from lions and mean girls. Brains do things like that. They think thoughts to put us on the alert. And just like our stomach digests food, our brain creates thoughts. It's just its job, it's what it does, and it's usually without our awareness. And when our stomach digests food, there's a byproduct. When our brain thinks thoughts, there's a byproduct. It's feelings. Thoughts create our feelings. So from the time we were about 8 years old, our brain has been collecting and using efficient thoughts to help us survive, but not always thrive, which means growing. And when those thoughts come up that the brain creates, like they're mean or they're wrong or they're trying to change me and they shouldn't do that and I shouldn't do that, when those thoughts come, we are kicked back into survival mode. It's our default program. And in order to bring ourselves back into a place of control and empowerment, we need to switch over into intentional thoughts and do something with the byproduct of the old thoughts, which is anger. So what we can start with doing is recognizing it and greeting it. Hello, anger. I see you here. Come on in. We're not going to try to resist it because that adds energy to it. We're not going to try to distract from it or react to it Because what we resist persists. We don't want it to persist. We want it to stay as long as it needs to stay and then move on. We need to feel it, which means recognizing, how does this feel inside my body? Where am I feeling it? How does it feel? What temperature would it be? What color would it be? What shape? What texture? All of these things. And then remember that I'm feeling this because of a thought in my mind. That's all. Nothing's gone wrong. this is exactly how I'm supposed to feel with the thoughts that I'm having. Now, there's so much that can be done afterwards to change our thoughts, but this is going to be the most important part, because moving on without actually processing the anger is going to be like trying to move forward with the brakes on. I remember this one time, I was trying to get my 3 kids to a baseball game that my son was the pitcher in. They were all little, and I had them in a bike trailer, and we had this huge headwind, and it was hard enough. I mean, that thing was like a parachute, and I was pushing, and I was pumped. I was like grinding those pedals, and I look back and I see that my son had his hands out against the wheel, and thought it was hilarious, pushing against it. It was already hard enough. Anger is already challenging enough. Let's not make moving on even harder than it needs to be by trying to take action before we've processed the anger. I know we like to try to skip that part, but on the other hand of processing anger is being able to process those tender underbelly emotions like rejection, disappointment, sadness, so that we can debride and heal. And it looks like being able to recognize and feel and move past quicker so that you can experience things with sincerity and vulnerability and confidence. This is what peace looks like. You can access peace, just sometimes it's on the other side of anger, and you need to go right through it. Okay, if you feel like you're having trouble moving past anger in your life, having trouble healing because of it, please call me. I'm really good at this and I can help you. Okay, good luck.